With just days to go before the start of the 24 Hours of Dubai for 2020, I thought I'd pick through the rules and things you need to know before the event gets underway, because as fans of this race know, it's not as simple as it seems. It's part of the 24-8 series, a championship full of endurance races, and its season opener is its most famous. The problem with the series is that the calendar changes like every year, but Dubai is by far the most stable, and that whole debate is for another video. The whole idea behind the racing is to make it fun, so the organisers have to cater for big budget GT3 teams with pro drivers like Black Falcon and WRT, who won in 2015 and 2016 respectively, and the tiny teams that run Renault Clios with amateurs. I'm not joking, they really do. The huge speed difference caused by this makes traffic really intense, and probably contributes to the 2-hour maximum drive time limit for one stint. The traffic also characterises the race, with the GT3 cars passing around 9 cars every single lap, and one mistake will put the car out of contention. This series uses a code 60 system to slow the cars down for an incident. It's kind of the same as the full course yellow used in the WC, but it's a world away from IMSA where the field is always bunched. This means that catching a code 60 during your pit stop window is super important, as it saves heaps of time and often wins you the race. Another notable thing about this race is the amount of darkness during the 24 hours. As those who live in the northern hemisphere right now are well aware, it is constantly dark at the moment. While Dubai is significantly further south than I am, it will be dark for a very long time. Both of these factors make it a race of attrition really. An example of this is the Scuderia Praha Ferrari that led the race for nearly 10 hours in 2016 before a crash with a slower Ginetta in the dark at the penultimate corner ended both their races. Finally, the race is young. This is only the 15th edition, as the race started back in 2006. Back then it was a BMW M3 that won, with some guy called Toto Wolff? Whatever happened to that guy? Porsche won there first next year, and then Mercedes in 2012, followed by Audi, who completed the set 4 years later. Basically, if you're not in a German car, you're not going to win. Ferrari nearly broke that in 2016, but you've already seen what happens to that, and it's not looking too promising this year either, with only Barwell bringing a Lamborghini to challenge for the win. A quick note on the circuit here too. I mean, look at that runoff. It does make for some incredible sunset shots, but it also makes for not particularly challenging driving. This doesn't disqualify it from being a good racing circuit, but it's not very entertaining to drive, and qualifying isn't often an all-in test of commitment either. It does make incidents easier to deal with and cars easier to tow, but the 24-8 series doesn't often boast a particularly star-studded driver lineup, but Dubai runs its own show really, and the teams on show here are world-class once again, with just under 80 cars and over a quarter of those GT3 cars. The winning teams for the last 5 years are all here, along with some other big names that will be fighting for the overall win. The winners from last year, Car Collection Motorsport, have come back to defend their title, retaining most of their lineup that won last year, but they've swapped Fred Vervish for former F1 driver and GT1 world champion Markus Winkelhock. Audi will have multiple options, with WRT also bringing 2 cars again this year, including a particularly strong lineup in the number 31. Rolf and Mark Eischen, Mirko Bortolotti and Kelvin van der Linde will be sharing their efforts towards the team, and in my opinion, this is the strongest team. However, Dubai often throws the curveball, and it will never be straightforward for them. Black Falcon will be on the grid again, searching for their 5th win since 2012. They already hold the record for the number of wins with 4, and that makes them the race's most successful team. Herveth Motorsport have often dominated 24-8 series racing, but Dubai hasn't been a particularly happy hunting ground for them, other than their win in 2017. They also drafted an extra driver to deal with the demands of Dubai, and this year it's Porsche factory driver Sven Muller. This race really does attract all kinds of different drivers, something that makes it really special. From series regulars like Rick Breukers and Thomas Lecole, to British touring car driver Rory Butcher, and even 3-time Paris-Roubaix winning cyclist Tom Bonan. Of course, it's not all about the GT3 class. In the SPX class, the amazing Mark VD8 touring cars return with VDS Adventures, and there's another strong Porsche Cup field with 11 cars and race favourites MRS GT Racing and Race Pro Motorsport both putting out strong squads. In TCR there is another decent entry for the emerging class, with 6 different manufacturers being represented. Last year's series winners Autoron Motorsport will be there, alongside German regulars Bonk Motorsport and Hungarian Zengo Motorsport, who will have the help of a certain Norbert Michelis, last year's World Touring Car Cup winner. There will be some interesting GT4 and TCR battles throughout the race, but these classes are rarely shown on the coverage and their battles even less, which is unfortunate, but with the limited cameras they have, it's kind of understandable. Despite these issues and the big lack of cameras that seem to trouble 24-8 series events, I've done my best to highlight these lesser stories in a highlights video soon after the race. I hope you will join me in that, but until next time, goodbye.